Season 2 of SheShed with Dr. Cheryl Holmes. We are going deeper and deeper this season, exposing myths, telling the truth, and getting to the heart of the matter. So we look forward to seeing you this season, October 4th through October 15th. Pull up a chair, grab your boo, and let's get down and do the do.
Well, we're back. Woohoo! Hi, my name is Dr. Cheryl Holmes, and I am a psychologist and family therapist, and tonight your host. And we're back in the SheShed. We were here in 2020. This is season 2, and as the app said, we're going deeper. We had a time with a man, which was amazing, but we want to bring some balance. Some balance. We need to get the ladies in here. So we're encouraging you to tell somebody that we're on. Don't just come on, but be sure that you tag someone. I'm going to give my guests some time to go on their phones and tag some people. I'm going to do the same thing. So we're going to lead by example. How about that? Take a minute and just tag your friend. Share this in every group that you're in. Annoy some people tonight because they always annoy us. Sometimes you just there minding your own business and you get that beep, notification about something or somebody tagged you. Tonight, we're going to be tagging everyone that we know so that we can get them to come on to the SheShed. All right, let me tag it. I'm sharing. You guys sharing? Come on. Yeah, I see those numbers coming up. Tell your girlfriend that we're on. And guys, do it for us. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Yvette. Eartha, I see you guys. Come on, share it with your friends. We want to make sure that everybody come on in. Come on in. It's so good to be here again another year in the SheShed. We have some amazing, amazing women. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. The theme for this year, we talked a little bit about why we were single. And we do apologize. We were supposed to start last week, but we wanted just to look at what was happening with the internet and make sure that we're here. And okay, Annette, I see you. All right, guys, tag somebody, bring somebody in. I'm doing that myself. I also want to tell you about our life coaching certification program. We do have a training academy. In fact, we have 2 now. We have Holmes Training Academy. So far, we've trained over 700 life coaches and counselors throughout the Caribbean, the US, Canada, and very soon we're going to Africa. In a few months, we're going to Africa as well. So some of you have had the dream about being a life coach, or many of you may have be life coaches, but you're not getting clients. So what's great about our program is that we help you to do the micro niching and find where those clients are. If anybody knows me, I'm passionate about you making the money so that you don't get a penny for your thoughts. You get a whole lot more than a penny. So if you're interested in being certified as a life coach, I am certified as a life coach, but I'm certified to train life coaches. I have not just decided that I want to train, but I've been certified to train life coaches. I am a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, a marriage and family therapist. I'm working on my 3rd doctoral degree. The reason I'm going for all of these is so that I can be proficient in the stuff that I'm sharing. I'm not sharing from an emotional place. I'm doing the work, the research, so that the curriculums that I write and the information that I share is coming from that place. So a lot of you are being taught by and coached by some of the people who graduated from our academy. We just started our marriage academy, and if you're not part of the marriage academy, you are missing out. We talk about everything. We talked about orgasms and how to have them and what stops them, erectile deficiency, all the things that a therapist will talk to you about in private. We put it out there because, did I say I'm a sex therapist as well? Yeah, got that certification as well. So we encourage you to be part of it. The life coaching certification is on December 4th. The relationship counseling, if you want to deal specifically with couples, premarital, marital couples, couples who want to be healthier in their marriage, we have a really great assessment tool. We have two tools, in fact, that we can share with you, train you, get you certified, get you listed in your state as a therapist so anyone can find you. If you're interested in those things, just put your name in the comments and Yvette will get that name, get you registered. All right. We see all of you coming in. Let me introduce you to some of these amazing people. This is our first tonight in the SheShed. We're going to be here every night for the next 2 weeks or so. And then we're going to jump back in with some couples. You guys are going to get to see some couples actually go through therapy online. They've agreed to do it face to face. So that's something that we're doing as well. So if you are brave enough, we're going to hide you a little bit, make sure that no one sees your face. But you're going to get the therapy that you need. And some of the people who are doing relationship coaching will get a chance to get some of those skills. And those of you who may have the same kind of issues that the couple have, you get some help as well. So the Marriage Academy, the couples training, couples counseling is coming very soon. Let's see who we have here. I just love this lady's smile. She has this just infectious smile. Hi, Teresa. Unmute and tell us what you're doing, how you've been, what's going on.
Hey, Dr. Cheryl Holmes. I am so glad to be a part of SheShed again. I
Yes.
am still out here taking over the world.
Good. That's good. That's
one
good.
one speech, one stage, one mic at a time. I currently serve as the vice president of membership for the Sweet Talkers Toastmasters Club of Sugarland. I am your smoothest, sweetest talker. I speak the truth. I speak light, and I say it as kindly and as with as much love as I possibly can. So I am here to learn and grow from your great expertise, all the things that you share with the world, and just that you have given to me for my own life. It has been nothing but joy. So I am looking forward to the power we're about to give in exchange tonight.
I'm looking forward to it too. The good thing about this is I don't have to sit here and be the expert. I have the experts in the room so I can chill. So we'll be right back with you, Miss Sweet Talker. We'll be right back. See who else we have here in the room. So we have Pastor Sarah. We're going to be really nice tonight because we have a pastor in the room. Although I'm a pastor, but I'm not a pastor tonight. Pastor Sarah, unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Grace and peace to you, Dr. Cheryl Holmes, with an amazing and a phenomenal woman of God. And I'm excited to be on with you tonight. I am Pastor Sarah Barbour. I am a former police officer for over 18 years for the Sheriff's Department, worked in IMPD for 4 years in homicide. I've been a chaplain for over 20 years. I currently serve in the coroner's office, so I have been from the beginning now to the end, serving the community and dealing with families, with grieving families. Our city right now is maxing out at over 200 plus homicides as of Friday. And so what we deal, and those are homicides, that's not the suicides, overdoses, that strictly homicides. And so I serve the community, have the passion in the heart, been a pastor for 11 years, been preaching for over 41 years this year, 41 years of preaching the word of God. And so I'm excited to be on. I'm also a foster parent. I foster teenage girls. I have the desire to see young ladies go all the way to the top. So I've been a foster parent for 7 years. I have 5 teenage daughters. Right now I'm down to 1. I have graduated 3 of them. I got to graduate. She will be graduating year, gone to college. And then I have 3 biological children myself, 27, 31, and 32, 2 grandbabies, and I'm excited about doing in our life. And one of the books that's in my spirit is called Preach Like a Woman, I'm Not a Man. Give me some
I love
stilettos.
it. Yes, yes. So isn't
And
it
this,
illegal
go
to
ahead, I'm
have
sorry.
children? Isn't it illegal to have children at 2 years old?
Is it illegal to have 2 years old?
To have children when you're 2? Because you said you're talking about 41, 42, but you look like you're a teenager. So isn't it kind of illegal to have children so
It's
young?
illegal. But listen, I would love. I do want to join your. I do want to go to your counseling school, but I will be sexy and 60 next year. Yes,
You will be
God is a
what?
teacher. Sexy and 60 next
Sexy
year.
and 60. I love it. Okay.
60.
Sexy and
I told my
oh,
children. I told my
wow.
children either I'm going to be sexy and 60, or either I'm going to be sick and 60. So I want to be sexy and 60. So I don't want to claim that. And so I just thank God for the life that He has given us. And when you submit your way to the Lord, He will give you the fountain of youth. So
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
excited about what God has done. Yes.
Oh my gosh. There's so much you just poured out there. I can't wait for us to begin talking. I love it. I love it. We'll be right back with you, Pastor Sarah. Let's see this lady, Brenda. She's a solutionist, and I just love that. I got a chance to jump onto Clubhouse and listen to some of the stuff that she's doing. Brenda, come on, bring us up to date. What's happening with you?
Well, I am Brenda Warren. I'm known as the Solutionist. I'm a retired Marine gunnery sergeant, 20 years of active duty, a retired hospital administrator. I currently help women over 40 struggling with the transitions in life like divorce, empty nest, etc., find their voice and create strategies that let them lead their best lives using my tap-in method. I am a pattern for living coach. I'm an author. I have one child, Alex, age 20. And I really thrive on helping people have healthy, fulfilled, fully expressed lives and help them live unapologetically. And that's what I love to do. Oh, I have 3 guinea pigs, and they are the lights of my life.
You have 3 guinea. Okay, okay, okay. Great. You're doing a whole lot, and we feel safe tonight because we have these former gun carriers. So we feel safe. We'll be right back, Brenda, because I know
Okay.
there's a whole lot of other stuff that you're going to share. Let's see who else we have. Coach Yvonne, unmute your mic and tell us about what's going on with you.
Oh my gosh, everything. I'm Coach Yvonne Victor. I'm the founder of Yvonne Victor Life Coach Life Design. And I've been coaching professionally for the last 3 years. Just recently authored my very first book, which is Unstuck, the First 5 Steps for Living Your Best Life. And very much like Brenda, I coach professional men and women and help them to create and live their best life as they define it. And so this is my second career. I worked in corporate America for like 30 plus years, and taking all those lessons learned and that expertise and mixing that up with some very practical life knowledge, and just helping people to just totally do, a 360-degree life transformation. So it's one of the best things that I do, aside of being a mother to 2 adult children, Blade, who's 34, and Raven, who is 24, and a wife to Tony, who's got to be the best husband in the world. So thanks for having me again, Dr. Cheryl.
Good. This is really, really good. I told you guys it's illegal to be married and have children at 2. Come on now. We got to do better. Let's see who else we have here. Hi, Minister Tanya. How are you doing? Tell us about yourself, what you do, and what we didn't ask the ladies that I'm going to start asking you, and then get back to some of them, your marital status, just in case.
Good evening, and thank you for having me, Dr. Cheryl. I am a minister at Face to Face Worship Center. with Pastor Tony as the lead pastor. And for those who tuned in just a week or so ago, then they witnessed Pastor Tony. But I am single, and I don't know for how much longer I will be single, but right now it is where God has me, and it is what it is, you know. But I am single. I am in the professional world, not necessarily like a life coach or anything like that. But I have found that in my tenure that I have, for some reason, I seem to coach. I do a lot of coaching at work and on breaks. And I'm just thankful for God for the opportunities of speaking to the lives of others. I'm huge, big when it relates to family relationships, and my sister circles. And so it's my prayer that tonight's discussion will help everyone who's tuning in.
Awesome. See, all of you are just super amazing, and we're going to have this really great conversation on tonight. So we know that Minister Tanya is single. Pastor Sarah, can you give us we know Yvonne just talked about her amazing husband, so we don't have to ask her status. Pastor Sarah, what's your marital status? Unmute for us, please. No, we're not hearing right now. We'll come right back to you. Teresa, I know, but tell the world, are you married, single?
Yes, I am a newlywed. I am twice married to my husband. I was a COVID bride, so our initial wedding was April 4th, 2020. We then married again at the big wedding. It was February 13th, 2021. I was the wedding that caused the whole winter storm, you guys. Hell froze over.
Okay, Brenda, I know, but tell us, single, because something could have happened since the last time I talked to you.
No, my divorce of 24 years, of my marriage of 24 years will end in divorce officially tomorrow, 10:30 a.m.
Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? There's sometimes people have divorce parties and stuff like that, but I'm saying just be careful. Where I've seen one person get married to the same person 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So they got divorced twice. The same person. They got married to the person, got divorced, got married again, and got divorced. And then they're married again. So you never know, Brando. You never know. Pastor
No, it's
Pastor
over.
Sarah, are you married, single? Pastor Sarah?
You're on mute.
Yeah, so we have to let you stay off mute. Yes. It's coming on and coming back off. Somebody doesn't want us to know if you're. Take it off. Stay there, right there. Okay. So I don't know. So I don't know what's happening. We're not hearing you. Minister Tanya, do you know if Pastor Sarah is married, single?
I do not. I don't know. I know the relationship is through Pastor Tony, you know, between the two of us. But so no, I'm
okay. So we'll come back. So just in case anybody is looking at her, just don't make any decisions yet until we find out her marital status. They'll be getting in her DM and telling her how she's cute. Let's find out first. So just for the record, the only people that you can't even call Brenda until tomorrow after 10:45. At 10:45, she'll be single. She's a woman of God. She's not, anything else is not right. Don't be coming. See somebody right there at 10:47.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you.
I am
married, single.
Soon to be married. I've been divorced.
Okay, yeah, you're going in and out, but we did hear that you're soon to be married. Good. Yes, that's great. Congratulations. So it's gonna be you, then then Teresa, and then Yvonne in terms of the newlywed, and we don't know what Brenda have coming up there. So, ladies, what we do, what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about a few things, but I wanted to start with a lot of you, although you may not be in the dating world per se, but you are coaching, you're in that, from what you're saying, you're in that place. What do you think? There seems to be a level of what the men call thirsty or desperation. In fact, I heard a man say that it's going so far that thirsty is becoming hungry, which means the women are more desperate. There seems to be that level of urgency because there's this feeling that the pool of that men have a lot of choices. So we are in the place of being at a disadvantage because they have more to choose from than we do. And so the woman should at times seem to ignore the yellow flags and the red flags because she wants to get hooked up and feel the feeling that if I don't do it now, I might miss my chance. What's your take on this pool that we're working in? Is there really a deficiency? Deficiency is not the word. A smaller amount of men that is causing this level of thirstiness or desperation, or maybe you don't agree that they're thirsty. What's your take? Anyone? Brenda, just jump in and then we'll just go.
I would just say that I coach a lot of women, and it's unfortunate that although the women on this panel may not be thirsty, there are a lot of thirsty women. You know, when I'm coaching these women, they're so desperate to be in a relationship, they're willing to settle for a half of a man. You know, if he's breathing, he's good. And it's unfortunate because until a woman changes her mindset and understand what she brings to the table, she will accept anything at her table.
That's so good. That's good right there. That's good. That's good. So Brenda is agreeing that there's a level of being thirsty. Anyone else agrees?
Yes,
I think
I agree.
Because that gives it yields some type of atmosphere that we can't be quenched unless man. The woman should be judged by her goals and who she is, because Adam was already put together when woman was presented him. The woman was whole woman, and see, we have the image or the thought it's 50-50. We're whole all by ourselves. It wasn't that man was alone, he was alone. When God the woman, he was a whole woman, not a woman. So when Adam was not with the woman, she was still a whole woman. Thirsting is something to tell us if we don't have a man that we're empty and we don't have anything, we don't have a brain. But I am not Scarecrow. I am not the Tin Man. I am not a light. I don't need no courage. I need no oil, and I do have a brain. I might be red slippers, and I'm gonna get to Oz.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else on that the level of thirsty that is happening with some of our sisters?
I would like to speak on just the term alone. I am a new bride. I am 38, and I definitely faced an urgency in the dating pool when I had a desire to get married, when I saw the vision for my future and where I wanted to be. The plans that God had for me in my life required me to have a partner, a helpmate. So, unfortunately, it could have looked to others as if I was thirsty just by the definition of the word and how we look at it in society. But at 38, newly married, I am looking to start a family. So, thirst to some people might have just seemed as though our urgencies in life and with the state of affairs that the world is in at this time, those types of connections and that relationship means a lot more. Our time means a lot more to us. I don't think we can take things for granted, but I think as women, as an alpha female, as I have been described to be, my thirst can be mistaken, or my urgency and my intent to settle down could have been mistaken for some thirst in this culture. So I will raise my hand and fall on that blade for my sisters.
Okay, so that's very interesting because there, the age seemed to be, there's a certain age where I guess a woman gets to and she's like, hold on, I want children, I want all of this. And so, but does the woman, and I want us to be candid, I'm not necessarily talking about you or me, you know, I'm married as well, but I had 19 years in that single ness stuff. And I just celebrated my 4th year of marriage. So it's not, you know, that long ago. But is it causing us to lower our standard and accepting things that we would not normally do because we're pushed by age, by society, by those desires that we have? Are we seeing that there might be a woman right now, she's seen a lot of stuff with this man, but she's still going through? Are we lowering our standards so that we can be married?
Yes.
I want to go ahead and comment on that too.
All right.
So go ahead, Minister.
Yes, let's Tanya, and then we'll get it on.
I would say yes, for sure. And I want us to be clear tonight that there's a difference between having a desire and being desperate. They are they're different, they're totally different. And so I want to be clear about that, because many women who are single have a desire for marriage, a desire for a mate, a good mate. But that doesn't necessarily make you desperate. I think that when you lower your standards, when you start accepting any and everything, when you no longer know your worth or put your worth first, I think that's when you move into the realm of being desperate. And so that's the area that I want us to, that I'm hopeful that tonight's discussion will help shed some light on. But yes, I believe that a lot of women have moved from a desire to desperate. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take it on.
Compromise.
Oh, go ahead, Doc. Pastor.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Is it desperation or compromise? Any woman to lure any stand is to stand on her feet, because we are the prize. Adam was alone. It never said that the woman was. We're the prize. And it's in our minds, for the prize, that we stand and we wait on God to bring us exactly what we desire, because the Lord can keep yourself. You never go in and leave a bag on sale, because the price never appreciates. It's what it is. We are the kind of God's character. We don't have to lower our standards for anyone. We got the cookies. We are the receptacle. We are the door to life. So why should we have to lower ourselves and be different? There's a man out there. He has him to on a necklace. Take him to a dentist. But what happens is we want this image that he has to be this, and we don't believe God make him who he shall become. We don't lower, dummy down, or compromise. Stand on your own feet. There's plenty of fish out in the world. The women on what it is that our quantity, and we think that if we're not married, that we're empty and void. We are not Naomi's. We are Ruth. There is a Boaz. There's a lady. There's as out there that will become the Boaz that we need. And we have to wait on God. Period. We shall not be desperate. We won't be. I just don't like thirst, because I've never been thirsty. I'm the drinker. I'm the cup of tea.
Okay. I'm going to go to Yvonne, but someone just said, I agree with the woman, that woman Eve and the man Adam was whole when they were created. However, it's important to note that the purpose of the woman was directly connected to the man. This may be why women may seem thirsty. It may be that on a subconscious level, they're looking to find their place. Okay, Pastor Neil, we got that. Yvonne, standards, are we lowering it? Is this thirsty thing becoming problematic?
So my thoughts are really, I don't think that that we are lowering them. I don't think that we ever raised them.
Oh,
I think that
yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't think we ever raised them. I think we're where we always have been. You know, like when you look at the women's liberation movement, that was what, in the 70s, something like that. I mean, it's not that long since, you know, we were really still chattel, and so we're still, as women, working through this gradually of becoming our own. You know, and so I just don't think that most women have gotten to the place where they're like, you know what, my standards need to be a little higher. And I'm saying this from my own personal experience also, Dr. Holmes. And so now you take that and you broadcast it on social media. So now it may seem as if it's an epidemic all of a sudden. It's just something that's always really, I think, kind of been there in my relationships with women, you know, that wasn't so much, you know, in your face before social media. Now, I personally watch and coach a lot of women, and yes, we have a timer, you know, on some things that we want to do with our lives, with our bodies, that, you know, they can do. And but that's always been there. That's not anything new. But now, you know, we're more liberated and we're more vocal about what we want, and it's out there. And so to men, it may seem like, wow, she's desperate. And it's like, it's not, you know, it's nothing new. In the same respect, with the whole social media thing, that both parties, men and women, now are open to a larger pool of potential mates. So I think that some of them are kind of, both of them, you know, I'm hearing this from men and women, are taking their time. You know, it's not, you know, people used to get married early 20s, right? That was the norm. Now you can barely get them married mid-30s.
Or
barely.
Get them married
They're still
at
out
all.
there
Married at all.
And get them married at all. Because what's happening is part of that standard.
If they get married at all.
You're right, because what are they getting married for? What's the reason to get married? And that's a real question. And that's coming from the place that we are, where not just the men, the women, they're having sex. We're talking in the Christian community, they're having sex. They're washing his clothes. They're cooking his food. He's living by her house. It's like, what is the incentive right now for a man to get married? And the woman is doing all of this because she still believes, like back in the day, that if I give him a child, if I have sex, and then when you hear from the man cave, the man is bored because it's like, what are we going? What is there? What is next? If we have all of this, if I can call you and you drop everything and then you just come to my house and you clean my house when it's dirty and you wash my clothes and you know, do all the wife thing, and some of them will put one ring on the finger just to hold you there. If you start acting up,
they call it a promise ring.
or even the engagement ring. If you start acting up a little bit and you look like you're not going, they put that engagement ring and keep you there for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. How can we get through this? How can we get over this? How can we stop this from happening? It may not be on a wide scale, but somebody listening tonight should be able to get that. One of the things I heard, and I'm going to hear from you guys, is there are alternatives. You may not be able to have your biological child, but you can adopt. You can. So if the woman begins to think outside of the box, that level of desperation might drop. What are your thoughts? Go ahead, Brenda.
It's not about women thinking outside the box. It's about doing what should have been done in the first place. We need to train. It says train up a child in the way that he should go, and he won't depart from it. We're not training our women that their bodies are are their own. We're not telling our boys that their seed is their destiny. It's not just about telling the girls to keep her legs closed. We need to tell these boys to keep it in their pants. And I think as when I hear the term about being thirsty, thirsty's not new. Just social media brought it to the forefront. Okay, women have always been desperate for a certain age. I didn't want children, but I had my first child, my one and only child, at 38 while I was married. So Alex is now 20. I'm 58. You know, the thing about it is, if your body works and you don't have a medical issue, I have an aunt that had her first child at 52 during the menopause. God help her. Anyway, and she's healthy and doing good. But the point is that we have to begin to teach our girls their value. Like the pastor said, we got the cookies. But most times we don't know we have the cookies until we get to this age. See, what I would accept at age 20, I was a chameleon. I wanted to conform to what a man wanted. At 58, brother, you better be bringing something, because I ain't the one. I don't have braces on my brains anymore.
Right.
We're not teaching our girls to think for themselves, to value themselves, to love themselves. Because remember, we teach people how to treat us, and we teach men that we have no value for ourselves when we're willing to give them wife benefits on a girlfriend's budget. Come on.
Yeah. And the thing about it, it seems like we have been groomed all our lives to be wives. That is the ultimate. That's the place that you get to, you know, all the time, whether it's with the dolls and the house and the kitchen and all the other toys and stuff. So it's not the woman who has made a decision. She does not want to settle, and she's going on with her life. She's looked at as in the negative, because she has not attained what every woman wants. And the question is, does every woman? Let me hear from Tanya, and then I'll come back to some of you.
Well, I totally agree with what Sister Brenda has said, and that what most of the panel has said, is that we have to start with our youth. It starts in childhood. Not to say that as women you can't seek counseling and therapy or whatever you need to help you with changing that mindset. But I think we're doing a disservice by not teaching our youth their worth. And that goes for our young ladies as well as the young men. That we both need to know it. I think when women, young ladies, when they start really realizing who they are, and know who they are, really know who they are, I think we'll see a change in the communities. And something that Sister Yvonne said, which was interesting, in that, you know, that what we're seeing of late is not new. But what I will say is that I believe, you know, the thirst has always been around, but the difference in what I'm seeing in my area, my community, is that the age has dropped drastically. Mm-hmm. So although women were thirsty in my age group, you know, as growing up in high school, you know, you saw what we would consider to be thirsty, or maybe not thirsty, but just curious to some degree. But what I will say is that number has changed. And so we're seeing them in my area. They're 11 years old, 10-year-old little girls who are dressing very provocative, doing things that I wouldn't dare have thought to do at 10, let alone probably not until I was at least 20, 25. And so that's the difference that I would say is that the age limit has, the young ladies are doing it much, much, much sooner. And I believe that's a lack of guidance from the adults, parenting or guardians.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the guys says having the cookies does not make you the prize. There's nothing you can do with the cookies without the sausage.
I guess so. If it was looked at as that, I would just like to. I can only speak on my experience. I was actually raised. My mom and dad are divorced. My mom was a single mother raising 3 daughters. And my dad remarried, and my grandfather, my dad's father, is an ordained minister. So I had both upbringings. My mom did it alone, and we were in a house where there were no gender roles. We had to get it done. If it needed to be done, we were going to do it. It didn't have a name on it. My dad did see a lot of things that he needed to teach me, if I was going to choose to do this life alone with the power that is invested in me, he was going to need to teach me and equip me to handle what was to come. All of a sudden, I ended up engaged. There was a man that God chose for me. My husband, never could have imagined this man exist. So, over the last year, I feel as though my family has been trying to reprogram me from the warrior that they have built into a wife that they believe I can become. Now, I believe by definition and what the world expects, I could absolutely be the most amazing wife with expectation. But I can honestly say that's not the vision God has for me, those gender roles. I am still going to be a great wife. I am a great person. I am a great individual. But my husband and I will determine what is great and what is not, and what will be and what will not by our guidance in God and by the needs of one another. Now, if we were to base our marriage on society and what they say I should be as a wife and what he should be as a husband, we may not make it. But when we sit down and determine what is needed here in this house and what we will do to survive, I feel like my parents did an excellent job, not gender rolling me, but allowing me to know that whatever needed to be done, that I could do it, but it would be easier if I could get a helpmate. So that's just where I was raised. And I have three nieces. I have two sisters that are not married, that have children outside of wedlock. I have my sisters, my brothers from my dad that grew up in a married home that they're married and they're building a home as you would expect by the book. So we are successful as children. My parents are successful, but just not by the society's definition of what marriage and what we have here. But I can't say what would work definitely for the society. My nieces don't have the pool that I had. They don't have the parenting that I had. Um, but I don't think we'll be able to get that across the board. It is going to be case by case, and it may be some that slip through, but we need to be aware of what they're missing. And I appreciate the panel because we are pointing out the need and the lack that our future is facing.
Okay, that's really, really good. I have a few questions that I want to put in. Sometimes I have to remember to look at the time, and I'm just having so much fun. But there is also the wife, the wife who is now. So we're not talking about the single person. We're talking about the wife and the level. And I think Teresa was talking a little bit about that. If you have a husband, and hopefully everybody here knows the story about Abigail and Nabal. And Nabal was considered to be a fool, and Abigail was really intelligent. And so when he messed up, she ran in and just took over and did whatever. So much so that David was so attracted to that personality that he saw. So when her husband died, and the Bible says that when she spoke to him, he died. So he may have gotten a heart attack based on what she told him. How does a wife deal with a husband that would be considered like Nabal? So she is it's not just that she thinks she is intelligent and she can run things. Everybody does, because when you listen to that story, the servants went to Abigail, not to Nabal. How do you work through those differences, maybe intellectually or whatever else? The truth is that knew that the person was who he is when you married him. So let's say he worked in the gas station. That's what he did. You run 10 companies. You are in that place of urgency. and married her. What is needed in that relationship to make it thrive, to make it work?
I think I can talk to that. I always tell people the phrase I say all the time: marriage is a negotiation between two people, and it goes very much to what Teresa said. Two people are dictating how this relationship will run, and if you can get that, you got to go at it. You got to go at it. So it may not be traditional gender roles. The wife may be the breadwinner, the primary breadwinner. The husband may not. But if you can remember, no matter what your status is, no matter who's more intelligent than the other one or whatever, that you are coming into a partnership with one another. Marriage is a partnership with another person that you choose to be. Right?
I like that. Say that again. Like you choose.
You choose. You
Yes.
don't do this. Let me say that this is my second marriage, and we've only been married for 6 years. It seems like forever. We've been married for 6 years. So, we've learned a lot from both of our previous marriages and things like that. But this is something we choose to partner with one another because we both feel that life will be better with one another. Right? I tell people, I say, hey, look, all that I love you and you're cute and I'm cute and you do it good and all that stuff, that's great. But there's a reason that you have to get a license to be married. And that is because a great portion of your marriage is also a business. And you cannot forget that. So I say, would you go into business with this guy? Are you willing to give, or woman, are you willing to give them 100% access to all of your assets? Are you willing to give them 100% access to your children?
Right, but Yvonne, you are talking about somebody who's not desperate. Somebody who's using their brain.
But you can't be desperate, and that's what I'm saying. You cannot be desperate. And it goes back to my first comment of it's not that women have stepped down; is we never came up here. So before you can get to teaching the young ladies, you got to do it here. I had to become the type of wife long before my husband showed up. I had to get myself together. I had a young daughter who's watching me, and I cannot do the opposite of what I'm telling her to do. She's gonna do what she sees me do, And so thank God I was able to pull that together. And she saw a wife, She saw me being a wife with her stepdad. And has had a very successful relationship for a young person. Same with my son. He saw me be a wife, and he is very serious about marriage. He doesn't date around. He doesn't do all that stuff. So I think it all starts with us. Pull it together. If you want to be in a marriage, first take a look at you. Are you ready? Are you the Proverbs 31 wife? Pastor, that has been my model. It was right there in the book. God said, look, here's the model. Be her. And she wasn't desperate. She was a bad, mamma jamma.
Right. But let me throw some theology and let me put my pastor hat on. That Proverbs 31 woman, do you know what her husband was doing though?
He was sitting at the gate.
Mm-hmm. The gate.
He was sitting at the gate. So the thing about that is when women are talking about some of those things and I want my husband to do this, that, and the third.
Right.
He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do anything but sit there and converse with the other
men. Right.
Other men. So when we need a man who is working and we want him to do this, that, and all that income and all of that, that Proverbs 31 woman, I used to want to be her too, but I don't want to be her no more because I don't want my husband to just be at the gate.
But
bragging about what I'm doing. I want us, and somebody just talked about partnership. I want to be able to, I don't know. I grew up just like Teresa. I did not know, I just had one brother. I did not know the gender roles, like who did this, that.
Right.
So that woman It's all the stuff that she's doing, and the man is getting the praise for all the work she's doing.
But she's not doing it by herself, though.
Right.
Who's
She's
she
not doing
doing
it
it
by
with?
She's doing it with her handmaid. See, that's
Right. But then, but I'm saying
she has a
the
staff.
husband, right? She has a staff, but the husband is not.
Yeah.
In 2021, we want to have that so-called partnership where our husband is the roles, like, if the bed is unmade, he makes it. If we're in that partnership. So we have to decide, do we want that partnership, or we want a Proverbs 31 woman? Great. I'm when I got married, I had a housekeeper and a babysitter.
Right.
But I still wanted my husband to be in the kitchen with me, cutting potatoes and doing that kind of stuff.
But that's
not the Proverbs 31. Mm-hmm.
That's the negotiation, but that has to be negotiated on the front end of it.
Yeah. See, that's
often, yeah.
You play a role and then get him in there and then expect him to be somebody different. So
And that's what I want us to go. And I told Tanya that she would get a chance to be. That's what I'm saying. I think when going in the supermarket, we're seeing a label that says cereal, or we're saying frosted flakes, and we take it home and we want to make it oatmeal. I don't think it's gonna work. It's not, and it's not that a man is being deceptive. The level of deception, and I mean this with all sincerity, there's more deception on the female part.
Yes, there is.
A man comes in and he's like, I have 10 children. I have no job. All of that. He comes and he shares all of that. And you're just like, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
But that's because we're preparing for the wedding and not planning for the marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
You are, absolutely. And
Tanya,
I wanted to,
go ahead. Let's get Tanya in there. She's just so nice and ladylike. She's just waiting for her turn.
come on in here, Tanya.
Great panelists, and so I respect everyone. And what we're putting out is great. So, I honestly believe that a lot of times women they're not real with themselves. Just not honest. So if you're not honest with yourself, then there's no way you can be honest with the mate to be. And a lot of times, I think a lot of women aren't honest because they don't even know what they want. So they see an image of a man on TV. I think reality television has taken over the world. They're looking at, the men that are on television, the portrayal, whether it's movies or what they see in the magazines, or even, what they see in someone else's life, their girlfriends, the way their husband, etc. And so I think a lot of times we as women, we don't even know what we want. And so that way, when he shows up, we can't even say or speak to it as, no, that's not quite it, because we don't even know. We don't know. And I think we have to learn that aspect of ourselves before we can even engage the conversation of being with someone. He'll if we don't, he will end up with I'm famous for saying I'm like Shaka Khan, I'm every woman, right? That's a little joke I have. But if we're not careful, and if we don't know who we are, he will end up with that every woman, because she'll change. It will constantly change. Just like Dr. Cheryl, you mentioned having a mate who's in the kitchen cutting up potatoes, et cetera, et cetera. But if if you're not clear about that, if you don't really know that's what you want, then you're going to end up a man he's not interested in being in the kitchen cutting up potatoes, but he'll be out in the yard cutting up wood for the fire. Why is he out there cutting wood? I want him in the house cutting potatoes. So we have to be clear. I think it's just, we have to grow up to some degree, learn ourselves, and then be clear about it and communicate it well.
That's why you gotta know your deal breakers.
Having those things, knowing those things up front, but that cannot be the thirsty woman, because if it's the thirsty woman, she catches the fish first and decides what meal she's going to have based on the kind of fish she has. So she catches the fish and then makes a determination. Okay, I can fit it in here, there, because of the fear of being alone. One of the things that I think is very important that I share with my clients, and I don't know how many people agree, because one of the things I was wondering, where do people get this information about becoming a good wife, a good mother? because there's this myth that someone who has been married twice, 3 times, 4 times is experienced, or someone who has been married for 20 years, 30 years, they're experienced, right? But because, and I'm glad that you don't agree, because what happens is every man is different.
Every man.
And so the experience that you had here, although it might be for 30 years, you cannot counsel people from your personal experience only because that's not the man that you have. They can be a general, I think, I feel, but sometimes we believe, like I have heard people say, I've been divorced, I've been married before, and so I've experienced. You failed twice or 3 times, right? That's what we're not saying.
And not necessarily fail.
Right.
Will, or just there was an uncoupling. But you know what I tell my clients? I'll ask my clients, if you bought 3 Toyota Camrys or 3 Mercedes, whatever your favorite car is, you buy 3 of the very same car. All 3 of them are going to drive different. You have to learn that car. And if you can understand that when you, especially because I deal with women, when you meet a man, you have to deal with that man right where he is and learn him. I don't care if your last boyfriend like being nibbled on his ear. This man might not like his ear being touched.
Right.
Don't to your next. You have to learn that man. And you learn that man by, just like the Bible, study to show yourself approved.
Exactly.
You study a man and you learn what he likes. It's going to be easier to deal with what that man wants. Now, I know that somebody might say, how she knows she about to be divorced in the morning? I know, because you study. And everybody's situation is different. And this ain't the place to talk about my backstory, but there's a reason why I'm getting a divorce. And it ain't always as cut and dry as things seem. But you need to study that man or that woman, if you guys watching, and know that person and deal with only them.
And I'm not saying that you are not qualified to give advice, because one of the things that I find that there's certain times that people say, you can't counsel me because you've never been married, or you got divorced. The lessons that you learn there, they're priceless. And if you get an opportunity to sit with someone who have, in the context we're talking about, failed or it didn't go through or whatever, and you sitting with them, they'll say, girl, that right there, there's a hole right there. Don't fall into that. So sometimes we have ignored people, or someone, the challenge would be someone who's never been married, never been in a relationship. It means everything that you've gotten has to be from a book or somewhere, and you haven't had the experience. But I think I like the idea. There's a particular, I wouldn't call his name, but there's a particular man who writes some books and whatever. And a lot of times people are saying, I don't want to hear from him. But YouTube is filled with failures that people are not just learning from, but making money from, where I can sit and say, you know what, I tried this. I tried that first Toyota and the brakes was a little off, and the steering. So if somebody's coming to drive that car, you say, you know what, the car is really good, but be careful with the wipers don't work. And this other thing doesn't work. It doesn't mean that you can't drive the car, but because I've had it longer, I've had it for a long time, I've made some mistake. You know why I know it didn't work? Because I tried to put it on and it didn't work. Right? So sharing from that place is really good. I want to put something else out here, a challenge that men have with women who love God with all their heart and soul and forget to be sexy.
Oh, that's from the pit. You know what? No. It's from the pit of hell when a woman forgets about her sexual side of herself. Because we were designed for pleasure. And I teach a class how to have sex that makes the angels blush. It's specifically for married Christian women and men. But we need to tap into that.
I like tap. Say tap again. Tap has that nice little, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because what's happening is when women are playing these games with sex, like, do you know how much punani a man has to pass to get home to you every night?
Right.
You don't want to act like you're the only one winning. Like you got the cookie. That ain't the prize. It's a whole bunch of prizes he's gonna pass to get to yours.
Right.
You need to understand about that. Men are sexual
You got
creatures.
Teresa
They
blushing.
ain't got the devil in them.
Right.
They,
And sex is not of the devil.
sex
but
is not of the devil. That's of God. And you should
That's God.
enjoy it. And you need to talk to somebody know what they're doing. If you don't enjoy it, figure out what's going on. Also,
amen.
that when you get of a certain age, you should not be able to have sex, and sex should still be enjoyment. And the punani can still get moist. And
Yes, it can.
if you eat the right foods, but the doctors don't tell you that.
You see why I love the shed?
Yeah.
I love it because
It's
a
awesome.
lot of times the people they're thinking that menopause means men on pause. But that is not true at all. But the men are suffering. And some of us, and maybe not in this group, we're amazing creatures. We can deliver the devil out of so many people. But when it comes to the bedroom, we are as ancient and as cold as what I don't even know what to compare it with. There is no sex. Yes, there's no sex appeal. We go to sleep with the sweatpants and the scarf and everything. The man turns around and looks like, oh my gosh, who is this?
Going on?
You know what? Look, I know some of y'all ladies, but this is my topic here, Pastor. And I'll shut up at this. I'll just tell you this here. Y'all, most of you women, not y'all here, but women go to work all day looking fly. Weave on point, lash, and then we'll come home, rip your wig off, and then by the time your husband get home, you look like McGill Gorilla. Y'all need to keep that thing on until he get home and see y'all, because men are visual. He around 5 sisters all day long, then you're gonna come home looking at you looking tore from the floor up. Y'all better make an effort to look as good as you do for the men at work for that man in your house.
Amen. Anyone
You can
else?
tie your hair up after you have sex.
Amen.
Get that hair down, put that makeup on, and let that man get something to look at.
Yes, Pastor Sarah, I hear you.
Bible says marriage is honorable and undefiled. I feel that it is.
You're breaking up so badly, and we want to hear what you're saying. It's really bad. Go ahead, try again.
Marriage is honorable and all of it is undefiled. I feel that we should give service to spiritual and sexuality out of it, because sex is honorable. It is coming together of a covenant. You should be the biggest hoe to your husband. You should get a hoe in your house. You should get some Chanel, get some oil from jail, and bring the blood and make sure you turn him out. Do not somebody in a fucking shit.
Yeah, it's going in and out. I know you're saying some really great things in and out. You know what's going to be cool?
Let me go get my ear.
Okay, all right. But I heard her say to be the whole. That much I heard. The whole.
Yeah.
That's why we need to hear what she's saying.
Hear what she's saying. You know what, Pastor too? I tell them, take them TVs out your bedrooms. Don't entertain in that shit. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary. If you want to, sex is not going to keep your husband home, because if he a hoe whether you home or not.
Right.
Y'all need to people. You can't fix a man's character no more than you can fix a woman's character. And people think that sex is going to keep him home, but sex ain't going to keep him home. If he's a man of God, his faith and fear of God is going to keep him in that house. But you can hold him and do the things that you're supposed to do by making sure he don't have a desire to go out to another woman. Because if he has every woman in his bedroom, he ain't got to go find another woman outside.
Right.
I don't know why. I'm going to give you a chance, Yvonne. I don't know why when we talk about sex, we talk about giving the man as if you're not enjoying it and just yearning for it and craving for it too. This is not something you give. This is something you share.
Yeah.
Because if you're not giving it, unless you're masturbating or have a big dildo, or small dildo, whatever you have a big one.
You know why I always let me tell you, why I focus on the woman, because a woman sets the tone for that. If if you look at how things are when you read the Song of Solomon and the different things in the Bible, the woman sets the tone. We don't often talk about this. The man will follow you if you lead. And most of the time, women don't even approach their husband. They wait for their husband to initiate sex. And then men want to be desired as well as women want to be.
Yes,
And if we set a tone that allows our husband to know that we're not going to be fighting them off because you get mad because the husband approaches always wants sex. You haven't taught him how to cuddle. You haven't taught him how to have non-sexual tension. Men, you have. It's the same with everything. We have to be taught. You teach your partner what you like, just like he's going to teach you what you like. But if you don't have the conversation about it, you're never going to have sex that makes the angels blush because everybody's trying to figure it out in the dark.
And I would want to say this I would want to say this with that. It also comes back to us when we say about thirst. I think just saying the thirst, saying, take a moment, quench your thirst, and be aware of who you are.
So Teresa, let me put something in there. That thirstiness and hunger is not in the marriage. That is only pre. Right. So in the marriage, you can be as hungry and insatiable as possible.
That thirst that we develop, I'll say the experience was myself. Thirst for knowing Teresa, the hunger to know what kind of woman I was, that gave me the courage in the bedroom. That gave me the woman to present to my husband. I didn't have to go to him for him to validate who I was. I was going to him and presenting myself the cookies, like, hey, this is what you want, ain't nothing else. And when you carry yourself in that manner, he treats me in that manner. Now, when I'm down and the wig ain't right and I'm having that week of bloating and I ain't every woman for that moment, he is able to re-enter those things that I present of myself. So I taught him how to acknowledge me as the cookies and the trophy that I acknowledge myself as. This is Teresa at 38, but 28-year-old Teresa was not ready to manhandle and take over. Even some women, my sister-in-law, his brother, and his wife were married straight out of high school. I remember I used to change my name at high school because I just wanted to be another person. How could I know who I was to come and want someone to respect me and love me and treat me this way? Unfortunately, last year I stopped being who my mom wanted me to be and decided I was going to be who God had called me to be. So these expectations we're putting upon a younger generation. Here I am just learning this, and I don't know if it has anything to do with marriage. There's still a lot of steps I could have taken before I walked down the aisle, but we're forever evolving. My husband and I, we are going to do the work that God has called us to do, and we're still learning that part. So even with the intimacy, I am
sex,
an experienced partner. I am only because for my backstory, I'm 38, he's 35. He came straight out of his parents' house. I moved out on my own when I was 18 and started living my life. Just as a long story short. So we're still learning together, but sometimes my experience will cause me to step forward and not be right all the time, but show him it's okay to get it wrong. We're going to fail together, but we're going to fail forward. I might get this wrong, but we're not supposed to get it all right. And that's just kind of stepping back. But in the bedroom, the experience, we share it, because it is just, I present myself, and that vulnerability allows him present himself, and we are happy with what we produce together.
Can I ask you ladies a question as we move forward? Is there anything that can be said and done in the bedroom that is unchristian, said
Ah,
and done in the bedroom that is not sanctified. It's not. I don't want us to be deep where we know everything. The bedroom is undefiled. But is there anything the husband or the wife can say or do that would be deemed unchristian? Tanya, you haven't spoken in a while. I love to hear your wisdom come, and then we'll go to Pastor Sarah because she had some stuff to say and we couldn't hear it.
Well, I will say this. I think it's based on the couple. I would say first and foremost, it's based on the couple. And the reason I say that is because it depends on how a woman or a man, how they were reared. There's some women who feel that the only quote unquote acceptable form or position for sex is missionary style. That's just it. That's how they were raised. That's what they've been taught. That's what they believe. And then she marries that man he's a big proponent of doggy style, So, there would be a conflict there. So I honestly believe that you have to take it on a case by case basis. But to me, that's discussions that you have in the beginning. You have to, you have to talk about those things so that you are on the same page. There's some women who don't believe in oral sex. Then you're married to a man who that's major for him, or vice versa. There's some men who don't believe in it, and yet the woman, his wife, is, she's feeling that there's a void. So I believe you have to discuss those things, and I believe that you have to respect your mate. So if you're with someone and they're not for it, anything outside of what we call the norm or normal positions, then I think that's something that you really have to talk about that, and then figure out if there's a way to have that happy medium. Because if you don't, you're going to have major problems in your marriage. Someone's going to be stepping outside or looking outside the marriage to be fulfilled. And so those are conversations that you definitely have to have.
And that is why I believe premarital counseling is a must, but not just with anyone, because I've graduated from seminary. I have the ordination and all that stuff. I'm safe for real. But some of the myths and the misinformation is coming from the clergy.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's coming from their own insecurities. I did a course with there was a gynecologist that was there who said oral sex gave you throat cancer. Now you have to understand that this is a gynecologist. I've never studied. So I said, sir, I beg to disagree, because come to find out, his pastor told him that. And his pastor's voice was so strong that he ignored all the medical stuff that was seen. So I am not trying to talk badly about pastors and clergy, but some of them, they say your mouth is made to praise God, and they put those things that people are coming with, those mindsets, those belief systems, in order to save them and the next generation, it has to be validated. Where is it coming from? It cannot just be that I feel like this. It's just validating where is it coming from. And in the therapy session, working through, what if you try this? Because somebody is, unless you're going to be divorced, not married, when you hear what the person wants. So someone wants oral sex, the other person doesn't. That needs to come up in premarital counseling and making a decision. How are we going to resolve this?
Absolutely.
And if there's no resolve, then we can't go through, because it's going to continually be a problem.
I do believe that the church has done an injustice to the members by going into their bedroom.
Amen.
And I feel that
ma'am.
premarital counsel should only be limited to biblical counsel, and keep your own personal, private desires out of other people's beds. That woman and that man should have a discussion and communication as to needs and to desires and to fulfillments and to fantasies. And the pastor should not be the one who gives the advice as to what to do and not to do, because when he tells you not to do it, he's the one that's trying to do it to you when that man is not doing it.
I
Ain't
love
nobody
them.
talking.
Say it.
I just have to be real. I'm a
Yeah,
pastor.
say it.
When
Say it.
people ask
it.
me, Pastor, do you believe in if you believe in oral sex? I will tell them, do you believe in oral sex? That's your husband and your wife. Because when I give you my opinion, then you begin to think of me in a particular way, to which that is not where I'm going. I'm not sleeping with you. One of the things that we have to understand is pleasing from the head to the toe. You should be the biggest hoe, the biggest whore. Get you some red bottoms, get you a pole, and do whatever you choose to do in your bedroom to please your husband. Because if you don't, the next chicken fryer, the next nurse, the next usher, and the next praise and worship leader will have worship with your husband and
Say
your
it,
spouse.
Pastor.
It is called worship. It is called intimacy. It is called pleasing. And
Yes,
when we
ma'am.
do that, we do it to the top, to the bottom. You can suck whatever you choose to suck.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
That's
your
right.
business.
That's your business.
That is not
Say
mine.
it.
My
Say it.
position is to keep a marriage whole. Take your tongue and put it whatever you want to. Every part of your body is your body. They talk about oral sex, but you can suck somebody's titty, but then you cannot do something else. What is oral sex? It's putting your mouth on a person's body. What I would call either criminal or sinful is when you bring a beast or an animal inside of your bed.
Yes.
Okay, if you want to do a doggy style, French style, hunky style, whatever style, that's between you and your
And you.
partner. Stay out of their bed. You have other things to move on. As a police officer and a pastor, don't ask me how many people that I sit down and have to look at between a cell that was in the pulpit, but then went down to a 10th Street and took $10 to get something that you preached about and told somebody they shouldn't
Seek
have.
it. Yes,
I'm not,
Right,
absolutely.
they
right,
don't want me
right,
in the
right, right,
pulpit
right.
Say
because
it.
it is awful. And then you make us women feel like we can't be sexual, we can't be sensual, we can't be this and we can't be that. And then here it is, he's creeping and cheating with somebody
Right,
else. Listen, Samson went and got the best cookie he could get, but he didn't have a communicator. He didn't have someone that he could rest his head in their lap. You ought to bring home the bacon fried in the pan, be the hooker and the whore, the worship leader and the pastor and the preacher, all in one in your private home, and leave your business not to your pastor or to your leader
right.
to tell what you should and should not do. And then you sitting there looking like stuck on stupid and boo boo the fool while they going over doing everything they want to do. And they are happy with a smile on their face. And you're looking like a lemon. Don't do it. Stop it. Pastors, preachers, stay out of people's bed. Get into their head, get into their heart, and get into the word of God and stay out of what I should do. Holla.
I was
Right.
Sorry.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came back
Shundo.
through with
Come
the
on,
with the mic.
they don't want that.
Yeah.
So
That's
because
what I'm talking about.
my first marriage ended. I've been divorced 21 years, and I hope that whoever hears this, I have to be true and transparent. They told us what we could and could not do, and I found out that being a missionary was to go to Africa and to the West Indies. But
Yes, girl.
I didn't find it out until I was in a divorce court, because I found some paperwork that was somebody else was doing what the pastor and them told me that we could not do.
Listen, that right
You're right.
there is priceless. It's really priceless, because the reason I asked that question is that the woman seems to be, and what I'm hearing from the man cave, a lot of us, we don't want, you have to say vagina, or you have to say the thing down there, and the man is in that moment, and he is, using whatever vocabulary he has in that moment, and after he's done, he becomes a man of God and he's praying and preaching. She cannot seem to be able to make that distinction, but this is coming from what we've been taught. And that's why there are pastors who said, I can't bring you to my church because I don't know what you're gonna say. If anybody knows me, I'm appropriate. But
they say that to me too.
But you know,
Okay.
Pastor, part of it is you have to have that conversation with the couple, because I understand what you're saying. I teach women how to write and speak erotically to their mates. I teach a class about that, how to talk dirty to your man, but I teach it in a way that's what's comfortable for them. And I often tell it because what one woman wants to hear, another woman doesn't. Some women have history of sexual abuse or molestation, and it could be a trigger. So you have to talk to your partner to find out. But there is a way to talk dirty without being vulgar. For example, tell him, do you want to I want you to come home tonight and kiss the caramel gates. Come on, kiss between the caramel gates. So most people would not have a problem with that, but he know what I meant when I said that. There is a way to say anything you want to say it. What you got to come up with what works for each couple. But oftentimes we're not even given permission to do that, to talk dirty in a nice way, because good girls don't. And because what the church has told us. So we have to be able to reconcile that. And that's why I think it's important for couples to have communication that allows them to have open adult conversations. And I'm surprised at how many couples don't speak. I have a couple I'm working right now, and they're 77 years old, and they're having sex like teenagers now. And before, they weren't even touching each other a year ago. And all we did is we started with, I want y'all to start dancing after dinner. I want you to whisper in his ear.
Right.
The man supposedly the doctor told me he had erectile dysfunction. He's functioning now.
Right.
That was a mental block because the woman was always nagging and giving him a hard time. It's so much stuff that's messed up because, like you said, other folks are in your bed. But if couples would have open, honest communications with their self, they can have some amazing sex lives at any age.
And you should be able to talk, and you should be able to talk dirty before you get to the bed. So those are conversations that you should have in premarital counsel. We should be able to talk how we feel in marital counsel. You should be able to say, I want to hit that, P-U-S-S-Y. Let me have some of that D. You know what I'm saying? So when you get in the bed, that language is enticing. It's familiar. And when somebody has an erectile problem, you ought to walk up. You know what? Elijah laid on a dead man and he raised, surely I can walk in a room and everything stands to attention. You know what I'm saying? And if it don't work, there's some things we can do to be satisfied.
There's more than penetration.
Absolutely. Right. If you're impotent, I don't care. We're going to work this thing. Okay.
That's right. There's other stuff to do.
Do you understand?
Tantric sex. There's so many different things that people can do that is just so amazing that our bodies are designed for pleasure. And the best sex organ you have is right here.
In
your brain.
Listen, ladies. Okay, we gotta go, but the comments are coming in, and this is something that I'm hoping that there is a freedom, because I get an opportunity to work with a lot of pastors and sexless marriages. You would not believe how many people, and if not sexless, that low meaning probably about 10 times for the year. And there was no help. Even for men who may have the quick ejaculation, no one is talking. And that's why we have the Marriage Academy, where we sit down and we're talking about everything. Like, some people don't understand even the women don't understand that the vaginal wall does not have all those nerve endings, but the clitoris does. And so sometimes the man bypasses that and goes in, and she's just there like, but she's not at that place because that sweet spot is not being touched. Now, and some women have never touched themselves, so they don't know how to direct the man as to where that sweet spot is, because we were told you take a shower, you wash it real quick, and then you just leave it alone, towel it off, and then you leave it alone. But this kind of conversation and knowing that this is okay. When I'm done, and you know, we all gonna sit and speak in tongues in a few seconds. We just gonna just bust out in tongues because it has nothing to do with my level of spirituality. In fact, the more spiritual you are, when God
The more
created that
heightened.
clitoris,
Right.
the clitoris has no other function but for pleasure. I can see him making the woman, and then he steps back and he's with a smile on. This is God, a smile on God's face. He just said, "Hold on," and put that right there, just right there. And he goes back and okay, yeah, that man is good now. But we think about it. We think about sexuality, and I know some of us have gone too far, and it's become, you know, like Brenda is saying, it's vulgar. You can be very feminine. You know, like
Very
we're talking about this. Nobody's being raunchy or anything. And so there's a place for this. I totally love this. I totally love this. Let me get final words from you, ladies, and we have to do this again. I think this panel was chosen by God himself. I know everybody's going to be mad with me because all the other women that's coming, they're going to say that I'm biased. But all the panels are chosen. Have been chosen. Because I got a chance to be with everybody. But ladies, this has been really, really amazing. And the men, what they're chiming in as well, they agreed with some of the stuff we said. And they didn't agree. And this is one of the things that we're showing as well. That as men and women, we can have conversation, we can be respectful, we can agree, we can disagree, and nobody's mad. And that is the level of maturity. Let's get final words from you, ladies. Let's see who we have here and get some final words from you. Okay, Teresa, it's on you. Give us your final word.
This was so awesome. I think that we must take the opportunity to learn ourselves, continuously grow in who you are. So when you are presenting yourself to a potential mate, and even when we present ourselves to God, we just want to be whole and fully yourself, not trying to measure up to the world standards, not trying to be who other people want us to be. And that's truly the greatest person you can be, outside the bedroom, in the boardroom, and in the world, because that is where we're coming to take over the world. Thank you so much.
I love it. I know we're going to see you in a few times again in the SheShed. This has been amazing. Keep on doing what you're doing. How can people get in contact with you?
Like I say, I am the Vice President of Membership for Toastmasters Sweet Talkers. That is here in Sugar Land, Texas. You can also follow me on Instagram as well as Facebook. I do have a talk show that we are filming, Real Talk, Real Action TV. We definitely sit and talk about these topics, and we share our personal experiences, and we also go into the community and see where we can help our people grow and learn themselves, just as we have taken this journey to become our best selves. So definitely follow me on Instagram because we have great things coming ahead.
Great. Until next time. Thank you so much.
Next time. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's hear from Brenda. Brenda, give us your final words.
My final words is I love coming to the SheShed. I always meet some amazing women. I think that I love the best, like the comments from the audience and stuff, that we can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. And if I could say anything, it's just when we talk about, it's important that we stop just planning our weddings, but that we prepare for marriage. Because when we start preparing for marriage, we're prepared for what happens if. And have those hard conversations before you make that commitment, so you're not disappointed in the long run and end up at a place 24 years later where you're having to split ways. So have those hard conversations, and don't let people tell you things about your bedroom. Keep that between you and your mate. That's what I would like to say.
That's really good. How can they get in contact with you? Again, one of the things that we've said to these ladies, we are all professionals. We're doing other things, different things, the same thing sometimes. So it's not competitive. So don't feel bad if you don't come to me, you go to Brenda. Brenda, tell them how they can contact you and what you're doing.
You know, and I think that's important that you said that, because I've always said my light doesn't dim because another sister's light shines. We only shine brighter together. And you can contact me by going to Instagram, Brenda the Solutionist. It's Soul, SOULUTIONIST, the Solutionist.
Good. Hopefully you got that right. It's not. It's
yes,
soul.
it's Solutionist.
It's
And I also
soul.
want to mention, because Yvette asked me to make sure I mention this out, I am one of the 5 finalists that will be presenting in New York on the 22nd of October on the Unfair Advantage Live, y'all. I'll be
Oh my gosh!
And I'm so
Congratulations.
excited. Competed against hundreds of people, and I won a spot. So I'm excited about that. That was really
so
pretty cool.
good. You know, we owning you. You better go win that thing and come back when you win. So we,
I will get back to the SheShed and tell you, because I always have fun and I enjoy the conversation. So thank you for inviting me. I'm forever grateful.
Great, great, great. Until next time. Okay, let's the beautiful smile of Yvonne, the life coach. Give us your final words.
Yes, ladies, I want to tell you that the most amazing, the most important thing that you can ever do with your time in your life is to get to know you. Say, get ready, you know, what do they say? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Whether you're preparing for a husband or a job, or you just want to live just this, you know, best life that you possibly can, you know, in all the fullness of you. Do the work. It starts with you. Starts right here with you. Change yourself, everything changes around you.
And how can they contact you?
Yes, contact me. You can find me on my website, which is YvonneVictor.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Yvonne Victor Life Coach, both handles. And be sure to get your copy of Unstuck. It's got a lot of great information to get you started on your journey.
Great. I know you're going to be back here. We love all that you brought to us. And until next time.
Absolutely, Dr. Holmes. Thank you so much, sis.
Okay, let's just see. Wow, Minister Tanya, this was your first time in the SheShed and you survived.
Yes, I
give
did.
Give us your final words.
Well, I enjoyed it so much, and it's my prayer that the everyone that tuned in, that they receive something, that they'll walk away with some good nuggets to help them along the journey. I want to say to us, I want to speak to women, and to say that it's important to us to be the best version of ourselves. That's it, to be the best version. And so whatever that is, do the homework, do what's necessary so that we can be ready. So if you're not married and you desire to be married, do your homework so you'll be ready when he shows up, you know. And for those who are married, there's always work to do. You know, we talked about whether or not women should be sexy, and, you know, talking about Christendom and whether or not women should play into the whole sex piece. Yes, absolutely. I grew up with a mom who said that women are to keep up the property. That's what she calls it, keeping up the property. Just like you have a house, you know, you're going to put a coat of paint on it, you know, you're going to paint the doors and the shutters and whatever needs to be done, keep the roof intact. And so as women, we need to do that, you know, and it's okay. It's okay. Just, you know, being about yourself and being sexual and all of that does not take away your love for Christ. And so first and foremost, be true to yourselves and just be the best version of you. Thanks for having me.
It's just a pleasure having you here. And I love that. Keep up the property. I hope let's put that, make sure we put that in the comments. It was just so amazing having you here and the wisdom that you dropped on us. And one of the great things that I like about this SheShed and, you know, doing the man cave, that people are not afraid to disagree with someone else there, because we bring different perspective and the discussion is so nice and heavy and great. And you brought clarity and femininity to all of the discussion. So I know definitely this was your test ride. You'll be back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, the fire lady. Okay, Pastor Sarah, give us your final words. Okay, can you hear me? Oh no, this cannot be happening.
Yes, Dr. Cheryl.
All right, great. Okay, give us your final words.
My final words is turn to your neighbor, say, neighbor, sweet spot. I want to just release to everyone that there is a deliverance that God wants you to be free from, and that's from the opinions of people and holding people in bondage in boxes that God did not design you to be. Your flesh is not saved. God designed it for pleasure, and that nothing should keep you from your mate and to please not only God, but the person that God has given you. And God wants you to be totally free. And I am so excited to have joined this panel with a group of women who are out of the box. I hope our transparency was not offensive to anyone, but we want to set people free. We want people to know that they have kingdom purpose and they also have a divine purpose, and that is to please their mate. And just know that God is the God of flesh, because he had given us flesh to enjoy one another, not given us flesh to indulge in sin. And not everything that you do with your mate is sinful. It is pleasurable, and God wants you to enjoy it. So I want you to be encouraged today that what God has for you, it is for you. And thank you so very much. Once again, you can reach me at Sarah Barbour on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat, Pastor Sarah Barbour. God bless you.
I just love your spirit. You're my sister from another mother. Thank you so much for your transparency. Thank you so much for all that you brought to the conversation. This has been our first night in the SheShed. I want, before you guys go, please tell us your thoughts and give some love to the panelists. If you remember their name, just put their names in the comments and give them some love, so that, not that they absolutely need it, but it's always nice. We're girls. We like the hugs and the kisses and the all those nice stuff. And tonight, I think what we're showing you, or what we attempted to show you, is that in the plan of God, this life that we're living is not just one of obligation, but it's also one of enjoyment. And every aspect of our lives, whether we are in the kitchen, behind the pulpit, in the boardroom, in the bedroom, sitting with a friend, as a woman, God has made us so that we can enjoy the times that we have here on earth. You do not have to be sanctified and saved in the way that you think in the bedroom. I love what Brenda, the solutionist, said, that the kind of lovemaking that puts a smile on God's face. The reason why we're talking about this, and Pastor Sarah said that some people might be offended, and that's not the intention. But you have to wonder, why did God make us the way that he made us? The hands that he gives us, we use them and we're so happy about them. Our feet, our minds, our eyes, every part of our anatomy. This is something that God has created. And for the woman who's in the bedroom, and tonight, I want to release you. I want to release you by the blood of Jesus Christ to go tonight and have the best sex that you've ever had. Say things that come to your mind, groan and moan, and let this be a time of multiple orgasm. That's my prayer for you. I know some of you may be offended, but bless the Lord, oh my soul. A husband is going to rejoice and give God praise. I release you from the bondage of your mind. I release you from the bondage of tradition, of culture. God's word supersedes everything else. And who the Son has set free, be free indeed. Tonight, I decree and declare that what is dry will be wet, and what is laying down will stand up. And that tonight, the couples who are listening to us will have some of the best sex ever. Because even, I know some people talk about it, but there are people who even get to the place of talking in tongues. If you feel a good anointing, once the anointing doesn't make you get up and want to go over there and pray, but flow. Let this body, let your breast bless him. Be in that place where nothing about your anatomy makes you embarrassed. All right. My name is Dr. Cheryl Holmes. I'm a psychologist, family therapist, and sex therapist. And it's been my pleasure to be with you on tonight. Join us tomorrow night. Tell a friend that the women are in the SheShed, and we're lethal, locked, loaded, and lethal. Until tomorrow night. Bye-bye.